taking on a new technology and going, well, how are we going to, this may not work. We may do our money here. But taking that risk of having that go is important as well. I think that risk adverseness that we sometimes get can, stifle innovation a little bit. So we've got to be willing to have a go and see what happens with different technology, have the patience to see it work as well. Sometimes these things take a little while to develop.
Welcome back to the Vegalogue podcast, a dialogue about the Australian vegetable industry from AUSVEG. I'm Tom Bicknell. Historically, Australian producers have been rapid adopters of new technology and innovation, and the current generation of growers is no different. Growers are looking to new agricultural technologies, or Agtech for short, to help them confront the pressure from climate change, labour shortages, rising input costs, and changing market demands. The technologies being explored read like a list of TED Talks keywords. Artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, drones, big data, the Internet of Things. Understanding, sourcing and trialling those technologies can be time-consuming and costly, however. So last year, Hort Innovation launched a $4.1 million levy-funded project to help Australian vegetable growers adopt advanced mechanisation technology. Run by the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries over 3 years, the project will deliver field days, showcase events, demonstrations, international study tours, webinars and more to help growers engage directly with the latest equipment and manufacturers. In October 2024, the project took a group of 16 vegetable growers on a study tour to the US, where they attended the FIRA-USA International Forum for Agricultural Robotics in California. One of those growers was Dan Hodges from Peninsula Fresh Organics in Victoria. Dan's an enthusiastic adopter of new tech on the grower's 2 properties on the Mornington Peninsula, and I spoke to him about the promising ag tech that he saw in the US and the potential for applying it in Australia.
Hi, I'm Daniel from Peninsula Fresh Organics, based here on the sunny Mornington Peninsula. We're about 30 to 60 acres, depending on the time of year, across 2 sites in Mornington. We grow a variety of crops, everything from bok choy to zucchini, so A to Z, and pretty much a lot of things in between. I think we've got about 13 or 14 different lines we grow, and we supply direct to Coles and Woolworths and the wholesale markets up along the east coast of Australia and a little bit into Tassie. You'll find our products on most supermarket shelves in organics. We've been here on this particular farm for about 3 or 4 years. Our Henderson Road site, we've been there for about 10 years. The farm's owned by Wayne and Tash Shields, who started Peninsula Fresh Organics with just themselves and started from scratch. And here we are 12 years later, I think. Memory serves, and growing well and doing an amazing job. So we're all organic and have been from the beginning. And we used to start with farmers markets and grew from there. So,
what kind of soil are we on here as well?
So our soil's pretty sandy, sort of a sandy loam soil. Most of our properties are a sandy loam just because it's easier to work and easier to work with. We actually had a carbon testing soil project that was happening here a little while ago. We was interested to see the difference in this particular site was up to about here in blackberries when we took over the property. And so we actually had some carbon testing done to see what it was like at that point, and then we're seeing how we go with our management of the property from a starting point, to see what our soil carbon levels are and stuff like that as we go with what we do. So we do a lot of work in compost. We add a lot of compost to the soil. Everything is turned back in. You can see the weeds and stuff everywhere, but that's actually good for us because it adds back to the soil. So we believe in keeping paddocks as covered as possible. Typically we'll go one crop out, next crop in, to keep as much living matter in the ground as possible, so that the biology and stuff keeps moving and keeps going. That's very important for soil management. So we do a lot of work on nutrition of our products as well. So we look at our fertilizer program and what we use for that, and how we sort of put that on and how we apply that. So yeah. My role with the business is all sorts of things. I handle compliance, irrigation, and focusing on agri-technology. So I fly and use our spray drone and looking at what's coming down the line as far as future technologies and stuff that we can adapt for the business. Also do nutrition and soil management and fertility with our crops as well.
So you recently went on a study tour of the US. Who organised that tour and what was it aimed at?
So we went on a study tour to the US. That was paid for by Hort Innovations, which was fantastic, to go over and have a look at what technology is coming. So we went to the FIRA conference. It was based in California in the Salinas Valley. It was one of these ag shows where you go and have a look at different technologies and what's coming out. So there was a whole lot of us from Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales that headed over there. We started in San Francisco and went for a drive and tour around a whole lot of different large-scale farms. And then we finished with a look at the conference and what Agtech is coming. So it was interesting because it was sort of a blend of, Silicon Valley and sort of what's happening and all that's pretty close by, and having a look at what they're bringing across and what the universities are bringing across into the ag space. So we got to have a chat to a lot of the people from universities and have a chat to different farmers and what's happening over there, which was really interesting. So,
Where did you hear about this study tour, and what motivated you to apply for it?
I was speaking to Danielle from Vegalogue. She said she sent out the email the other day, and I'm like, maybe an email came across my inbox, and I thought, yeah, I'll put in an application. I didn't expect to actually, get to go on the tour. And I thought, I'll just put in an application, see what happens. And then I got a phone call from Janine in the office, and she said, did you want to go? And I went, yes, let me just check with my wife. So I had to follow up and make sure that I could go for 2 weeks over to the US. But it was my first time in the States. So I was very excited and very grateful for the tour. It was a fantastic opportunity. So we're very grateful for that opportunity.
So what were you hoping to learn while you're over there?
For me personally, I wanted to see what technology was coming in the future, and what's in the pipeline. So what are they working on, and what does the future hold for ag tech? There's a lot happening at the moment in the space around precision agriculture, and a lot of different stuff happening in the universities as well. But I wanted to see, like, at the cutting edge, what's going on and what's happening. So for me, I wanted to see that, and what can we then bring back to Australia, and what perhaps do we need to change on farm ourselves to be ready for that technology when it comes. Immediate problems for us are the same with everyone in Australia, especially as labour. Like we have trouble getting staff, and then also weed management and harvesting for us, and then water management as well. So all those sort of things are sort of the technologies I was mainly focused on. But there was a few other things I was interested to see what else was out there, what else hadn't I thought of that was coming down the pipeline. So.
Was there anything that really stood out to you that you think you could bring back and apply on farm here?
There was a few technologies around laser weeding, which was really interesting. We'd sort of seen and heard bits and pieces of it before we went, so that was good to see. There was technologies around crop monitoring, like remote sensing technologies, so using drones and other remote tools to remotely monitor and sense what's going on with the crop, which was really cool. And then there was mechanical harvesters or robotic harvesters as well. They were really interested to see where they're coming and where they're going as well. So there was a few different technologies which I thought would work really well for us.
So what are some of the newer, more recently introduced ag tech things that you have on your business here?
Probably the newest one for us is the drone. So we bought a drone probably, I think nearly 6-7 months ago now, after the demo down at Shoes and Son, and the video that was done down there. We saw that and went down to the demo day, and I think immediately, I think as we were driving out the driveway, we were having a conversation about it, and the conversation was, yes, let's get one tomorrow. So we were unsure until we went to that demo day, and it was a fantastic demo, that one. So that was really good. So that was probably our newest purchase, and we've just taken to that really well. And actually, we haven't used a tractor sprayer at all since we've bought it. So all we've done is spray with the drone. So which has been great. So that's probably the newest one. Existing technologies like automation of irrigation and water sensing tools and stuff like that is what we're doing. We're starting to play a little bit with leaf temp sensing to sense the drop off of photosynthesis with the leaf temp. So that's something I'm just starting to play with a bit and see what's going on in that space. So that's what we're doing at the moment on this farm anyway.
When it comes to ag tech, what do you think are some of the big opportunities for Australian vegetable growers, but also what are the real hurdles to applying some of this new tech?
Yeah, I think the opportunities are great for us in Australia because we've sort of got we're early adopters of things. I think we really take this stuff really well, and we're pretty tech savvy, and we have we like playing with new toys. Who doesn't like to buy a new toy? So we like that technology and looking at it and playing with it. So I think there's great opportunities for us in that space, because a lot of these technologies help us save time on farm. So instead of having hours and hours, like we used to. Great example for us is just manually watering. We used to have someone all day go around, open and close all these taps just to manually water. Well, automating that took that person off manually watering, and now was able to go out and do another job, which is fantastic. So freeing up people around the farm has been great. So one of the challenges for us in Australia is our distance. We're quite a distance from California, and some of these companies who have some of this technology are sometimes a little bit reluctant to bring it out to Australia and our markets. So working with these companies and as part of the Hort Innovation project is trying to get some of these guys to bring that technology over, which is fantastic. But then there's challenges locally as well. So for me, it was when I was over there, I was looking at, so what do I need to change on farm to adapt to these technologies in the future? So simple things like having GPS guidance on the tractors, so that the rows are dead straight, so that then if we look at using a robotic weeder, then that can follow a dead straight row. If our rows are curved, it has trouble following the rows. So simple things like that can make a really big difference for us. And the other side of it is having the skill set on farm. So having someone who's across technology and agriculture is a bit of a challenge. I think sometimes it's easier to find someone who's in that space rather than a tractor driver these days. But having someone who's across that and can integrate that is really important. There's a lot of work being done in data, like AI around, looking at veggies and identifying weeds and all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of work in how we bring that together and how we actually incorporate that into what we do. I think there's a lot in I was looking at remote sensing for orchards a little while ago for a university project, and they were looking at how do you analyze the data, and you almost had to be a statistical analyst, like someone who's statistically minded to be able to pull that data set together, which we just don't have those skills on farm. But having those models developed and then can be then applied on farm really easily is I think the challenge, and that's coming. I think we're just at the cusp of some really big changes in technology for on-farm use, and I've been very lucky here at Peninsula Fresh. Wayne's been extremely supportive of taking that step and looking at new technologies, and supported us to actually go out and have a go at something. And that's the challenge as well, being able to sort of support taking on a new technology and going, well, how are we going to? This may not work. We may do our money here. But taking that risk and having that go is important as well. I think that risk adverseness that we sometimes get with new stuff, although good, it can, stifle innovation a little bit. So we've got to be willing to have a go and see what happens with different technology, and have the patience to see it work as well. Sometimes these things take a little while to develop. So I think there are challenges with new technologies that are coming.
The Advanced Vegetable Mechanisation Program to Maximise Labour and Cost Efficiency project is funded by Hort Innovation using the Vegetable Research and Development Levy and contributions from the Australian Government under project code VG23003. If you'd like to learn more about the project, there will be a link in the episode description to the project listing on the AUSVEG Knowledge Hub. You've been listening to the Vegalogue podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and give the podcast a rating and review. Vegalogue is produced by AUSVEG, the peak industry body for Australian vegetable growers. You can find more news and information from AUSVEG at ausveg.com.au, on our social media channels, or in Australian Grower magazine. See you next time.